So we were yesterday we were discussing this functional programming in Python. Okay. Uh, okay. So that was okay. There was a question like someone
Sir,
wanted.
what is the function of lambda?
Come again.
Sir, what is the function of lambda?
Uh, Function of lambda. Function lambda is
Sir,
it's
what does it do here?
yes. That is what I.
Z
That is
is
what I.
equal to lambda.
Yeah. Let me explain. I will explain that whole thing again. Okay. So all this while, when you were writing functions, what you were doing, you were saying def function name, and then you were giving some parameters, and then inside this function you were returning some guys. Okay. Now def function name, this is how you write functions, right? Like def function name, you pass all the parameters. Okay, and then something you return something from this function. This is how you write a function. And what is the basic idea? Why do you write a function? When you want to reuse the code, you store this in some function format, and you can always reuse this whole logic, this code, by calling this function. That is the idea. That is the basic idea behind using a function, right? But there will be situations where you need not, like you want to do that activity just one time. Okay. In such scenarios, you will be using lambda functions. These are anonymous functions without any name, not stored in your project hierarchy or project directories. These are just anonymous functions which will do the work and done. You cannot reuse it to here. I mean, there are, like, because I'm storing it as a variable g, and then I can reuse this thing, but that is just for showing it in that way. But usually lambda functions are anonymous functions, and we write it, we use it when we don't want. I mean, the idea is not to reuse the code, one time activity, that's it. Okay. So how this lambda function works, like it is similar to this definition, this def function which is there. So you can think this way. You will say lambda instead of this def and function name. Because this is anonymous, you can just write lambda, and then you give the parameter. So whatever this parameter this function takes, you take that parameter. So let's say x is my parameter, and what it is going to return. So let's say I'm returning x multiplied by 2. So I'm just, whatever number you give me, I will just double that number. That's it. So my parameter and the return value. This is how lambda functions work. Maybe in today's assignment you will need to use this lambda function. In short, I mean, the if you do the way I have done it, then I mean, the idea was like, anyways, I will be showing the solutions on Monday. But the idea was to explain you guys, in sort function there is something called as key, right? If you might have seen, there is a parameter called as key. That means it will sort on basis of some key in the tuple or something. So because I want to sort my that knapsack problem based on the unit value, I will do something here where I will say lambda, and then I will sort that way. Okay. So the key that you will be using here, that will be a lambda function. If you remember, I mentioned in one of the class that key, here you can have any custom function of your own. So that will be a lambda function, that you can use a lambda function here. I'm just giving you, there are different ways of solving the problem. But if you are doing this way, I mean, if you want, I'm giving you some idea, you can try using this key equals to some lambda function, and you are sorting by some key value. Okay, just think through it and try to implement. Okay, but usually, like, this is how lambda function works. You give lambda the parameter and what you want to return. Okay, now let's run through these examples and see how they are working. So if I run this, I will get 4. So my parameter is 2, and I'm returning x square. So 4. If I give 3, it will give me 9. If I give 4, it will give me 16. Right? So this is how lambda function works. Similarly, to find maximum of two numbers, I will need two parameters. Right? To find maximum of two numbers, I will require two parameters, that is x and y, and I will return x. So I'm writing like this, x comma y, and I will return x if x is greater than y, else I will return y. So this is my statement. This is my return statement. Okay. So the idea here was to highlight that here you need not just have a mathematical computation or anything. You can also add if then else logic. Simple if then else logic you can use. Okay. That's why I have given this problem or this question over here. Okay. So this is how your lambda functions will work. Let's run this example and see. So if I run this, 9 is the maximum of 5, 9. And if I give 15 here, it will print 15 for me. Okay. Now, that is like lambda functions you will usually use with primitive data types like integral values, string values, and character values, those kind of things. String values also, like, it will be taken as one single input, but not as a sequence of characters. That is how you will be using lambda functions. Okay. Now, the next thing is this map function. So how this map function works, you can think of some elements here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there is this map function, and there will be some output. So every element in this list will be mapped to a function, and then there will be an output. So if you think this way, like if there are 4 elements, output will be also of 4 elements. Every element in the list will be mapped to a function. Now, here you can have any custom function also. Here you can have like map my function, which is square, and then you pass your list my list. This is also possible. And instead of square, I'm using a lambda function. That is also fine. Okay. So if you remember one of the examples that I was discussing some other day, if I take this list and make it string, all string like this. Okay. Then I can say map of, okay, int comma my list. Okay. Now what this, and then finally convert everything, because this will give you a map object and I want to convert everything to everything back to a list. So okay, I will extend the class by 5-10 minutes today. Okay. So this is how it works. This is my function here. Int is my function and my list is this. It will pick every element from this list, map to this function, that is, it will convert to integral values, and then finally it will give you a list. So if I run this, it will be all 4, 3, 2, 1 integral values, not a string value. Okay. And instead of this int, you can have some custom function also. So let's take this way, def double. It takes one parameter x and then returns x multiplied by 2. Okay. And what I can do here is, let me take the integral list again, and I can say double. Now if I run this, this is my function. Every element in this list will be used in this function in sequence. So first 4 will be picked, then for value 4 this function will get called, then for value 3 this function will get called, then for value 2 this function will get called, and for value 1 this function will get called, and finally it will give you the result, it will give you the output. So that is how a map works. So map function, if you remember this diagram, like you have some sequence, some list, and then there is a map function. Every element in this sequence will be mapped to this function, and then finally you will get output. Okay, every element in this sequence will be mapped to a function. So here I'm using a lambda function. Every element is mapped to this lambda function. Here I'm using a custom function called as double def custom function, and every element is mapped to this def double function. Okay, or you can use some inbuilt function, like we have this int, str, all of these are like inbuilt functions. Okay, there is one question from Subhajyoti Behra. We do not have to pass arguments in double. No, you don't have to pass any arguments because it is intuitive. Okay, this double takes one parameter, and from this list it will pick one element, then next element, then next element, then next element, and it will do the thing for you. That is how map works. Okay, the map is something which will do like inner iteration, or internally it will do a for loop. There was a question yesterday, right? The map function is the one which will be doing that for you. Okay, you can just try this set of small questions to understand these functionalities more, and we will be also doing some small problems in either the assignment or the quiz to understand these concepts in more detail. But this is the basic idea. This is how map works. Okay. Okay, now coming to another function called as filter. So what filter will do is, you in every iteration it will reduce the list by some size. Okay, so if you see this lambda function, what I'm saying, lambda x greater than 2. So I have a list and I want to print only the numbers which are greater than 2. Then for that I will be using filter. So if I run this, 4 3 will be the output. Now here, if you remember, map also works on sequence of data, but input and output size doesn't change, they are same. In filter, they might be same, or they can be, output can be less than input. So this is how filter will work. In every iteration, it can reduce the input. Either it can print or it may not print. It will return the value or it will not return the value. That is how a filter function works. Okay. Then there is another problem, like reduce. So initially, like reduce. So far, whatever you have seen for lambda, map, and filter, you have not imported anything. You are not importing any library. Okay, but for this reduce function, you will need to import a library from func2. So so all this while, what we have used one import statement, like we have just used import random, import os, import shutil, import string. So one statement, import. But then you see here there is a different style of importing from funcs tool, import reduce. So why this style of importing? I will give you a little bit of theory behind this. Okay, when I say import random, or when I say import math, all the functionalities in random and math are loaded in your code. So when you say import, although you are writing one line statement, but the whole piece of code is loaded in your file or in your module or directory. Okay, everything is accessible, everything is loaded. That makes your code more bulky. That is one thing. The other thing is, apart from making it bulky, why to add any functionalities which are not necessary or not needed in your program. If you do that, if you add functionalities which are not needed in the program, you will need to be very careful, like when you are adding functionalities. Like if there are some unwanted, unnecessary functionalities that may be or can be used by some hackers or some people who are um, mentally not I mean they okay, someone can just use it in some wrong way or incorrect way. So it's better to limit your functionalities in your code. Only things which you need should happen. I'm not sure, like, if you guys go through this machine learning and artificial intelligence news, but long back there was a news like in Facebook research. What was happening, like they had created few robots and a few machines, and they started creating their own language to interact with each other, something which we were not having control on. So whenever you have a assistant, or whenever you have I should not be using these statements, but when you have a slave or someone who is doing something for you, he should be in your control. So, otherwise he will become a rebel. So that way your program, your functions are kind of assistant, a help for you. They should be under your control. So always use few things which are required, otherwise don't use it. So what this from statement does is it will only import what is necessary, what is needed. It will not load everything else. So in func_tools there are a lot of functionalities. I do not require that, I just need reduce. So why to load everything else? So I will just import reduce. Okay, similarly for random, I was using rand int as my functionality. So import random will import everything. Rather than doing that, I will say from random import rand int. And when I'm saying import random, then to use rand int, I had to write like this: random dot rand int, right? But when I'm using this functionality, this style of import, from random import randint, now I can directly say randint. That's it. No random dot randint, directly randint. But again, there are some trade-offs, as in, like, you may have some variable within your code which is randint, quite possible, right? Now at that point of time it will get confused. So in some scenarios, random dot rand int is a better way, because clash of variables will be very limited, very less in such scenarios. While in randint, I'm just giving you one hypothetical example, while in case of randint, clash of variable names are more likely, more possible. Okay, so there are few you can always have some alias name, like from import random as some alias rand. Okay, now instead of using random, you can say rand dot your function name. That is how import thing works. So here if you see, I'm just writing from func_tools import reduce, and then it will just import reduce functionality from func_tool. So all this while, when we were using lambda, map, and filter, we were not importing anything. And reduce function in the latest version of Python 3 from 3.7 or 3.5, I don't remember. Initially reduce was also available to you, but now they have moved it to func_tools. And what reduce functionality will do is it will do some kind of aggregation. So if there is a sequence, there is a list, it will perform some operation, some action, and at every iteration it will reduce this list by some value. The size of the list, it will reduce by some value. So in this example, if you see, what I'm doing is x multiplied by y. I am taking two parameters, I'm picking. So if my list is 1, 2, 3, 4, what this reduce function will do, it will pick two values from this list and then return one value. So at every step you have to reduce, otherwise this reduce function will not work. At every step you have to reduce it to one value or something less than two. So 1, 2 I'm picking, then I'm returning x multiplied by y, that is 1 multiplied by 2. Okay, so I'm reducing it. So my next list is 2, 3, 4, right? Next list is reduced by 1. So this was n, this is n minus 1 now. In next step, again it will multiply these two and it will be 6. Now it will be just 2 elements, and in next step it will be 12. So this is how a reduce function works. Okay, let me just run this code and then you can see the output. Okay, 4 into 3 into 2, that is 24. Okay. Okay, the next two are examples. Let's not take that one. I will be giving that in a quiz or assignment, but this is what is there in functional programming in Python. You have a lambda function which will which is similar to a normal function that you write in Python. It will take some parameters and it will return some values to you. Okay, then you have in lambda functions, you can just taking parameter and returning, you can also apply if then else logic. Okay, then you have a map function, which is like there is a function, there is a list of values, and every element in that list will be mapped to a given function, and the output will be stored, and input and output size is going to be same. That is how your map function works. And then there is this filter functionality, which will filter out some of the values from your original sequence. So your input and output may be equal, or the input size can be greater than output size. Okay, similarly functools, it does some kind of aggregation. Okay, it does some kind of aggregation, and at every step it will reduce the size of the list by a factor of 1, 2, or 3, like whatever, like the number of parameters that you have taken is, let's say, 2, then it will reduce the list to, if the number of parameters you have taken is 2, it will reduce the list by 1 element. If you have taken 3, it will reduce by 2 elements, that way. But this is a simple approach. Even I have never used more than 2 parameters. I mean, if it gets complex, always go with simple functions. I mean, def wala functions. Don't use lambda, map, filter. Okay. But these are the basic ideas. Sometimes these are used very, these come very handy, like when you want to do some kind of data pre-processing, as in like when you are working on huge amount of data and you want to do some kind of pre-processing of the data, like cleaning of the data or other things. These things come very handy, and you can use these lambda functions, filter, map, reduce, to do some kind of operations. We will see through some examples. Okay, if any questions, or like we are done for today. Okay, I see one question from Sumit. The question is, what is the difference between filter and reduce? Yeah, so I explained the difference, right? In filter, it's not reducing. There is a list. Okay, take this way: 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is list of numbers, and you have some porous membrane over here. Not everything can pass this membrane, right? Only the one which is having smaller size will be able to pass this membrane. The largest one will be filtered. This is filter operation. You are filtering your list, while reduce is going to aggregate. It will do the aggregation. It will work on the entire list, and your final output should be 1, or in ideal scenarios it should be just one output. That's it. Here, what you can get a list as an output. Here my final output was a list. Here it is a simple integral values, that is 24. Because it is reduced, it condensed everything, the like that whole list, into one single value. That is the difference between filter and reduce. Different scenarios, different ways of handling it in functional programming. Okay, so again I will reiterate: lambda, simple functions. Okay, simple anonymous functions, which will there will be some parameters, and then there will be return values. Map, you will be working on a sequence of data. and every element in that sequence will be mapped to that function, and then output will be stored. Input and output size will be same. Okay. Filter, you will be working on sequence of data, and then you will be filtering out some of the elements from that list. Your input and output may be same, they can be of same size, or the input can be greater than the output. Reduce, it will condense everything to one single value, it will aggregate to one single value.